Please join with us.
Wow. Thank you. I feel so like I'm home, I've been away and I'm home. See all of you precious souls. Um, I'm sure Tara said something really profound when she was in this moment. But I feel very full. My heart feels very full. And so tonight I want to share, some highlights from the last 3 months. Um, but before I get to any of that, I just want to say I really look forward to having time with every one of you at different moments, carved out intentionally, via some email and text planning or just on the fly. I really, really look forward to hearing how each and every one of you is doing. I'm thinking about a bunch of numbers. 3,450, the number 100, the number 50. I'll start with that. Why 3,450? You're not going to guess. It's roughly the number of years since what the Torah portion we read this morning happened. You understand what I'm saying? This morning we read the Torah portion of the Exodus from Egypt, the Shirat Hayam, the Song of the Sea, the parting of the sea, and our going from Egypt to slavery to freedom. So that's about 3,450 years ago. 100 years ago, it's actually some interesting things. Irving Berlin wrote the song God Bless America. That was in 1918. Also 100 years ago, Britain and Russia and France divvied up the Ottoman Empire, in theory for the sake of freedom. Now, 50 years ago, you know why I'm saying 50 probably, or you have known in the last couple days, right? It's 50 years, say his Yortzeit from Martin Luther King, Dr. King. And so each of those numbers I'm bringing because I think the question is like what binds them together, what's the thread, what are the dots that we can connect, and I think each of them is connected to freedom. Actually, I want to add a couple more numbers. One is 12 and one is 3. 12 are the number of weeks, and 3 are the number of months that I've been away, which there's a quality of freedom in that too. And then the last number that I'm thinking about at the moment is just the billions and billions of units of appreciation and gratitude that I feel. I know that Tara feels as well for this gift of being away for this period of time. And so the question tonight is going to be like, what is the essence of freedom? Is there sort of some core ideas that help us think about and understand freedom? And throughout the service, there'll be 4 times when I stop and share some thought, some connection to the sabbatical that I think sheds light on freedom. And now I want to actually think of a freedom moment, which is a birthday. Birthdays are moments wow, I'm free. I've made it to this age. What a blessing. And to light Shabbat candles. So Elliot and Judy, if you'll come up. Elliot, it's your birthday. Although I don't know. Yeah, right. Okay, good. I didn't realize you were that old. What? I don't know why. I don't know. What do I know? I mean, they do. Because you're funny. What?
It's the 3rd and a half anniversary of his 21st birthday.
Okay, come on, Elliot. I mean, Judy, who's that? You guys know this routine. You've been here many times, blessedly. You don't need you don't want to hold this probably.
No, I can wear one.
Good. Okay.
להדליק נר של שבת.
V'yom tov, for some of us who are observing the 8th day as well. All right. Shabbat shalom, Chag Sameach. You're so exactly so done with it. Oh, sorry. Thank you.
We continue greeting Shabbat on page 11 with Dodi Lee from Song of Songs, page 11. Dodi Lee v'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim. Dodi Lee mizot ola min hamidbar. Mizot ola hamidbar. Dodi li v'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim. Dodi li mekuteret mot moru levona. Moru levona. Dodi li. Dodi li v'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim. Dodi li.
We continue on page 16.
זמרו לאדוני בכינור, בכינור בקול זמרה, בחצוצרות בקול שופר. הריעו לפני המלך אדוני, ירם הים ומלואו, תבל ויושביו. נהרות ימחאו
Lechadodi on pages 20 and 21. And together we'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9 as we welcome the Sabbath bride.
So this is a new melody for Lechadodi. I woke up this morning, I thought, oh, it's going to be a beautiful spring day. Little did I know. Actually, the sun came out, and I thought it's time for a more energetic and more exciting Lechadodi. So I introduced to you this wonderful version by Alana Arian, who's going to be a special guest here at Temple Beth-El in a year from now.
Wow.
So we're going to be learning a lot of her music.
Wow.
And this is one of the first pieces, Lechadodi. Lechadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Try that with me. Lechadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad Yishmianu el hamiyuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad L'shem ultiferet v'litila Lechadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor habracha merosh mikadem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila. Lechadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 5. Hitoreri, hitoreri, ki ba'orech kumi ori, uri uri shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lechadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 9, we greet Shabbat. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha ufsola toch emunei am segula boi kala Lechadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
So before we move forward, I want to share my first Israel installment. But before I even do that, I want to say something about the room. You know, all these lights are on. I'm guessing that maybe all of us know why. But in the case that someone doesn't know or doesn't remember, This morning we observed Yizkor, and all of these lights remind us of a loved one on whose shoulders we stand, a loved one to whom we owe great thanks. And the service of Yizkor, of course, which happens on the 3 festivals and on Yom Kippur, is a time of prayer and a time of acknowledging these loved ones. And I want to say something about prayer, but before I do, I want to actually add something to my very deep feeling of thanks that I opened with a few minutes ago. One is to our leadership here at Temple Beth-El, starting with my dear friend Ron Epstein, who, without your partnership and support and care and brotherhood, none of this would have happened. So a big thank you to the leadership of Temple Beth-El, directed specifically to you, Ron. And as well, an incredible expression and heart full of gratitude to the 2 of you, Rabbi Molbaum, Cantor Lappin, for the unbelievable skill with which you do your work, the commitment, the sense of heart and intention, and it's a great joy and privilege to be your chavruta and your partner. So it's with enormous gratitude that we know that it would never have happened without you. So what I just did was, I think, combined gratitude and prayer. And that's actually one of the primary experiences that I want to say something about and think about vis-a-vis our sabbatical time in Israel. We blessedly had many opportunities of very rich prayer. And not surprisingly for me, the richest of the moments were moments in which we were in cramped rooms, not a fraction as beautiful as this room. Rooms were cramped because they were filled to the gourd with people, and every single person was singing and adding their voice. So I want to say something about prayer and start with where we are in our Torah portion. As I said, this morning and today is the day we read about our exodus from Egypt. We read Shirat HaYam, the Song of the Sea. But before we get to that passage, it's okay. Before we get to that passage in our Torah reading, there's a very, very important line. All of the Israelites, you've seen the movie, maybe movies, and you can imagine the experience. We were at the shores of the sea, and the sea is in front of us, and we are about to quite possibly drown because it's the raging sea in front of us, and the Egyptians are behind us. And the Torah text is really so sharp. It says, "V'hinei Mitzrayim nasa acharayhem." Egypt was pursuing after them, after us. What's the natural emotional experience of the moment? Tell me. Fear. And that's exactly what the Torah text tells us. Vayir'u ma'od. Ma'od. It was an intense fear. Vayitzaku, and they called out. B'nai Yisrael el Adonai. The children of Israel called out, Vayitzaku. Very clear, this is a moment of fear. A moment of fear. And what happens a few moments later? The sea parts. Actually, before the sea parts, Mark, it's really an interesting thing that happens. Moses apparently prayed as well. We know that Moses prayed because God said to Moses, "Ma titzakalai, why are you praying? You don't need to pray. What God need is for the Israelites to pray." Wow. And then the sea parts. It's actually a really profound moment. There was a miracle, but the foundation of the miracle was what? Prayer. It was our courage to be able to acknowledge our vulnerability, our fear, our inability to be in control. That is the foundation of the miracle. And lo and behold, it turns out if we look at a whole bunch of holidays, Purim, what happens in Purim? Haman wants to destroy us. And Mordecai has the great courage in Esther to go to the Achashverosh. But what happens before the courage, the social activism of Mordecai and Esther? What precedes it? Fear. Exactly. Very good, Judy. And what does Esther declare, decree? 3 days of prayer and fasting. Oh my gosh, what do you know? The miracle, the foundation of the miracle is our capacity to pray. Our willingness, our faith in the project of acknowledging that we're not in control. Somehow, suggests the Torah, when we have the courage to do that, it seems like that's not courageous. I mean, our world wants us to think that that's not courageous, but the Torah is saying otherwise. Miracles happen when we have that kind of courage. Of course, the whole Hanukkah story is the Maccabees being willing to sacrifice their lives in order to preserve our right to pray. Why? What was it that caused the Maccabee revolt? The edict by the empire to eliminate Shabbat, all of our ritual lives. I think as a movement, we've been amazing at social activism. We've been phenomenal. So many moments in our activist instincts. But I think we have some to learn and to grow in terms of our faith, our recognition that the miracles all stand on the foundation of a prayer experience. So I share all this because I've had some, as I said, some very powerful prayer moments, and I want to share some specifics. As some of you, many of you may know, I'm blessed to be one of 26 rabbis in a cohort of rabbis at the Shalom Hartman Institute in Jerusalem. We are Reformed, Conservative, and Orthodox rabbis. We come from all over the country. We come together. We have been for 2 years. We have one more year together. It's roughly 3 weeks in July and a week in February, and so I got to, during the sabbatical, 10 days of my time was with my cohort of rabbis. And we had an experience that we haven't had before, which is we went away for Shabbat, and we prayed a lot together. We went, by the way, to the Ein Gedi kibbutz. Has anyone been there? Awesome. Suzanne, yeah. John, great. Someone hand in the back, I couldn't see whom. Michael, is that you? Michael, all right. The Ein Gedi kibbutz, according to Tara, maybe she mentioned this, is like, it feels a little bit like Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden. Anyway, one of the famous things about Ein Gedi is that it's the place where David, the future king, he was running away from Saul, and David was with Saul's son, Jonathan, and instead of divisiveness, enmity between them, there actually was an unconditional love. So Ein Gedi is a powerful place for these Reformed, Conservative, and Orthodox Jews to come together. It was an experience that I think was moving for the whole group. I want to share a quote from one of the books that I read in my sabbatical. A book called Einstein and the Rabbi. I'm not going to tell you a lot about it, but out at the kibbutz in Ein Gedi, there's, you're standing, you're facing the Dead Sea. Masada is nearby. These mountains are so moving. And I want to bring this quote from Rabbi Naomi Levy, who wrote the book Einstein and the Rabbi. To sense that behind anything that can be experienced is a something that our mind cannot grasp, and whose beauty and sublimity reaches us only indirectly and as a feeble reflection. This, says Einstein, is religiousness. In this sense, I am religious. The most beautiful thing we can experience, says Einstein, I'm quoting, is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and all science. He to whom this emotion is a stranger, who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in awe, is as good as dead. His eyes are closed. The experience of wonder and awe for Einstein, which can be the foundation of prayer, that is the foundation of a religious life. One final little tidbit from my experience, actually two things, is I lived right next to a street, I guess coincidentally, called Rehov Shlomo Carlebach. Thank you for those people who get it. Shlomo Carlebach is the person who composed many of the melodies that we sing, and that certainly had a huge impact on my prayer life. And lastly, I want to share that at one of the places that I often went to pray, with Gavi in particular, there actually isn't even a sermon that happens at this minyan. There's no sermon. That was really striking to me. It's like, wow, everyone is here just for the purpose of praying. Let's rise for the Baruch Hu. I know that was long.
Page 28.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la.
We pray together at the top of page 31. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Page 32.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha hafta, Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbeinu u'bekumeinu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu ve'orech yameinu u'bahem negeh yomam v'layla yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated as we continue together with Ve'ahavta on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה
אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
So I want to offer a short thought just before we you're so thoughtful, Rabbi Molbaum. We're about to offer Michamocha, the moment. It's in the Shirat Hayam that we chanted this morning, and it's the moment that we're crossing through the Red Sea, and it also is the moment that what happens? How's that connected to the Seder? When we take a drop of wine out of the cup, why? Because there are Egyptians who are drowning and who are suffering, and we have to remember them as well. So I want to offer another quote from this book, Einstein and the Rabbi, and then share a few experiences. This book's Einstein wrote this: "A human being is part of the whole, called by us universe." I'm quoting. "A part limited in time and space. A person experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings as something separate from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. The striving to free oneself from this delusion is the one issue of true religion. Striving to free oneself from this delusion of separateness is the one issue of true religion." And so, Tara and I, we talked about this often. With so many mundane experiences. In Jerusalem, Get Taxi is the Uber of Jerusalem, Get, G-E-T-T. And it turns out that many of the drivers are not Jewish. Some of them are, but some are not. And we had all these experiences of like beautiful conversations and interactions with these drivers. One experience I had where his GPS didn't work and he didn't have any way to pay, and he was like, no, I'm not allowed to take any money from you. And I was like, no, what? There's so many moments. We had someone come to our home to fix, I think our washing machine, dishwasher. Vlad knows the story. So in the course of fixing this appliance, Mincha arrives. There, what's Mincha? Mincha is the afternoon prayer. There are two guys who came to our home. They're fixing something and putting something together for the landlord. Anyway, one of the guys takes his rug out to our mirpesa, our balcony, and he rolls his mat out and he davens Mincha. He prays his sort of mid-afternoon prayer. That Muslims pray 5 times a day. We pray 3. It was such a beautiful thing. Moments. We went to the YMCA in Jerusalem on many occasions, and there are all these Jewish kids, Arab kids. I'm not able to distinguish, who's Muslim, who's Christian in the Arab world, but to be in this. Many of us, I assume, have been to Yimka. Some of us have the YMCA in Jerusalem. So it's one of the central institutions of Jerusalem life. Lastly, it's a painful thing, but it was a very uplifting, inspiring moment when we participated in a march in opposition to the Gerush, the expelling of the many Eritrean and Sudanese refugees. Thousands and thousands of Jews marching on behalf of this value. And so in these many, many mundane moments, in a few intentional and intentionally created moments, I felt like we were doing the work that Einstein's alluding to, trying to free ourselves from the optical delusion of separateness. Let's offer Micha Mocha. Page 40.
Yai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh nora tehilo osef elen nora tehilot osef elen malchutecha ra'u banecha b'keam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam zeili anu be'amru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Yai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai.
We turn to page 42 and offer a prayer for peace, Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu Shomreinu leChayim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu Shomreinu leChayim Ufros aleinu Sukat Shlomecha Ufros aleinu Sukat Shlomecha Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu Shomreinu leChayim.
We continue at the top of page 44 with the Shamru.
Yeah.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat Ledorotam brit olam V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat Ledorotam brit olam Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael Asa Adonai, Asa Adonai, et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ליתונם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת.
Okay, installment number 3 out of 4. You know, in this role as rabbi, I don't know, maybe it's me, but maybe it's not only me. We tend to reveal things about our lives. Right after Adina's bat mitzvah, I revealed to you that I was letting go of something, which was the suit that I had worn at Tara and my wedding, and I had worn it almost every Shabbat, Friday night, since the year 2000, and I've let it go for my Friday night wardrobe. I want to actually sort of reveal another thing, which is that for about 15 years I've been having an affair. And the affair that I've been having has been with the language of Hebrew. My wife is known, so don't feel like I've been haven't let her in. She knows. And it's actually, it's an apt time to share this because, the Shirat Hayam, and this is that moment. And the poet, the German poet, Heinrich Heine, once said this, and it was quoted multiple times by Martin Luther King: since the Exodus, freedom has always spoken with a Hebrew accent. So I want to, in a self-serving way, I'm using that, but I want to talk about my love affair with Hebrew, and I think it connects to this theme of freedom. You know, in Israel, it's not just religious people, secular people as well, speak by using idioms from the Bible. Happens regularly. And there are two fun examples. One is that, and I shared this in a letter I sent to the community a week or two ago, that in our Bezic bill, what's Bezic? Bezic is like Verizon. On our Bezic bill, it's written Chag Sameach. Right? You know, and when you're in Israel, we speak with a Hebrew accent, even in very secular matters. In addition, on every Friday afternoon, there are radio stations in which people they call in simply to share a blessing. That's the whole purpose of this radio, these programs. They call in, they offer blessings for parnasah, bria, ahava, shalom, v'reut, prosperity and love and health and friendship. Actually, turns out that this is exactly the formula that we use under the chuppah with a bride and groom. That's on a Friday afternoon. For me, it's actually exciting and something liberating to hear and to be able to understand the blessings that people are offering. I want to quote writer Elizabeth Gilbert, not someone who's not Jewish. She wrote this: "Is it such a bad thing just for a few months of one's life? Is it so awful to travel through time with no greater ambition than to find the next lovely meal or learn how to speak a language for no higher purpose than that it pleases your ear to hear it?" In her book, Eat, Pray, Love, her affair with Italian reminds me of my affair with Hebrew. She has sentences like this: "It was a lovely evening of new idioms and mozzarella." Fresh one. Of the city of Rome, she writes, "It's a kind of a fairyland of language for me here." She's writing from Italy. "For someone who has always wanted to speak Italian, what could be better than Rome? It's like somebody invented a city just to suit my specifications, where everyone, even the children, the taxi drivers, the actors on the commercials, they speak this magical language. It's like the whole society is conspiring to teach me Well, she says Italian. They'll even print their newspapers in Italian while I'm there. They don't mind. They have bookstores here that only sell books in Italian. I found such a bookstore yesterday morning and felt I'd entered an enchanted palace. Everything was in Italian, even Dr. Seuss. Gilbert calls all this instructions for freedom. I want to share one other beautiful message from a book called In Other Words, which I've referenced here before. An author, Jhumpa Lahiri, who was a Pulitzer Prize-winning author, she says, what does it mean to give up a palace, to live practically on the street in a shelter so fragile? What's it mean to give up a palace in order to live in a shelter? You get what she's saying? This famous author gave up writing huge hits in English in exchange for her love of Italian. I quote her again, "Here in Italy, where I'm very comfortable, I feel more imperfect than ever." Imperfect. Every day when I speak, when I write Hebrew in Italian, I meet with imperfection. Why? As an adult, as a writer, she asks, am I interested in this new relationship with imperfection? What does it offer me? And she offers an answer to her own question. Imperfection inspires invention, imagination, and creativity. It stimulates. The more I feel imperfect, the more alive I feel. So, of course, I feel like she's speaking to me. Because when I'm speaking Hebrew, I feel like there are so many people who are invested in my imperfection. And it's true. I'm constantly being corrected, and I seem to love it. I do think it inspires invention, imagination, and creativity, all of which, at my young 57 years, I cherish. One last thing about Hebrew. Our holiday of Pesach, us educated Jews think that's one Hebrew word meaning what? Pesach means what? Yeah, to pass over. That's it. Us educated Jews know, right? Adam, you know that? But actually in the Kabbalistic tradition, we're mistaken. Because according to Kabbalists, Pesach is not one Hebrew word, it's two. It means peh, a mouth, that sach, speaks. For the Kabbalists, freedom begins with our capacity for speech. More than our ability, but our yearning to express ourselves, our efforts at trying to express our great dreams and high aspirations. Let's rise for the Amidah.
Page 46.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chazdei Avot ve'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים וקדושים בכל יום יהללו חסלה, ברוך אתה אדוני, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש, האל הקדוש.
We continue privately with the Amidah through page 62. You may be seated or remain standing according to your custom.
עלה למעלה לבן אדם, עלה למעלה לבן אדם, עלה למעלה עלה למעלה לבן אדם, עלה למעלה כי כוח עוז בך, יש בך כנפי רוח, יש בך כנפי רוח, כנפי נשרים אדירים, אל תקח אשבם, פן יכחשו לך, דרוש אותם דרוש בן אדם, וימצאו מיד. בן אדם, עלה למעלה עלה למעלה לבן אדם, עלה למעלה בן אדם, עלה למעלה עלה למעלה לבן אדם, עלה למעלה
We come to the moment in our service where we think of those who are in need of healing. If you are thinking of someone this Shabbat in need of healing, I invite you to share their name with us as we walk up and down the aisles.
continue with the singing of Mishaberach, our prayer for healing on page 253. Please join with us, page 253. Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
So I have one final installment. It occurs to me that I'm taking up a lot of space up here, and I'm hoping that the extent to which I'm talking doesn't make you feel like you'll be fine if you'll hear from me again in another 3 months. No, I don't like taking up so much space, actually. No, I don't, Mark. Anyway, okay, so I started off, Exodus is 3,450 years ago, and MLK is 50 years, and sabbatical, all these relate to freedom. And so far I've touched on these experiences in Israel and Jerusalem, that prayer is seen from, this is very personal. I'm not telling you it's how you should feel, but my point tonight is really just to share myself with you. That for me, freedom is connected. The foundation of freedom, one piece of that foundation is my faith that prayer can make a difference in my life and in our lives. Another component of freedom is my clarity that small acts of chesed, of activism, of goodness, kindness, make a difference. They generate freedom. Another experience of freedom, as I shared, before the Amidah, was just this love affair I have with this girl called Hebrew. I think for any of us who are able to find some corner of life, some activity that helps us feel imperfect, and that imperfection allows greater creativity and imagination, I think there's freedom there. Finally, an important teacher of mine urged me to read a book. I think I read 5 books while I was there. So other people would have read 12, but whatever. I read 5, and one of the books I read was called The Choice. And I hope that all of you have a copy. And it's not all this color. There are multiple colors. We're not going to read all of it. I just want to quickly read a few passages. I want you to understand that the woman who wrote this book is alive. She's about 90 years old. She was born in Hungary, and she was a survivor of the Holocaust. Witness, suffered through the worst. Only someone like that who writes this would I don't know only, but because of her life experience, I feel like she is an incredible teacher. I'm just going to pick a few of these texts. Take them home. I hope that you'll spend time with them. And there are some typos, forgive me, that they're all my mistake. Whether in prison, text 2, whether imprisoned by bad marriages, destructive families, jobs we hate, the barbed wire of self-limiting beliefs, we can all choose to embrace joy and freedom, regardless of our circumstances. 3, if we don't grieve our losses, we are doomed to keep reliving them. Freedom lies in learning to embrace what happened. We must have courage to dismantle the prison, brick by brick. Text 4, survivors should ask, what now, rather than why me. Dr. Egger, Edith Egger's right. All of these are quotes. I want to help you escape the concentration camp of your own mind and become who you were meant to be. To help you experience freedom from the past, freedom from failures and fears, free from anger and mistakes, from regret and unresolved grief. Let's just go to text 8. To be free is to live in the present. If we are stuck in the past, as in, if only I had gone there instead of here, if only I'd chosen a different career, if only I'd married someone else, if I won't be happy until. We're all living in a prison of our own making. The only place we can exercise our freedom of choice is in the present. So these are all different strands, I'll call them foundation points of freedom for me personally. But I actually think, and I feel, just in my kishkas, wherever that is, that there's something that even binds these pieces together. There's a beautiful quote from the Nitivot Shalom, a great Hasidic teacher, who says that freedom begins in the nitzots that exists in every single person. The Hebrew word nitzots means there's a spark. There's a spark of freedom in every one of us. And every time we feel freedom, a sense of freedom, it's because one of those sparks has been ignited. For me, when I'm in Israel, when I'm in Jerusalem, there's a combination of people and place and purpose that seems to cause many sparks of freedom to fly. And so I am enormously, abundantly, infinitely grateful to try, humbly, to bring these sparks, this freedom, back to you. Shabbat Shalom. Okay, let's rise for Aleinu on page 282. Is that right? 282.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובי מרומים, ואלוהינו אין עוד, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
287.
ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. As we think now of those who came before us, we look around the room and see the orange lights that each represent a spark of someone whose memory we carry with us. And if I read the name of your loved one that you're here remembering this evening, I invite you to rise and remain standing. This week, we're in a period of Shiva, the first 7 days, remembering Mela Liederman. And we're in a period of Shloshim, the first 30 days, for Doris Pinsky Kaplan and Myron Pomerantz. And this Shabbat, we also commemorate the yahrzeits of Dr. Robert S. Aaron, Mortimer Carr, David Chodosh, Shirley Cohen, Fanny Epstein, Selma Friedman, Sid Getz, Seymour Koppelman, Fanny Kroll, Eleanor Newmark, Magda Prince, Albert Rausch, Charlie Ross, May Sachs, Leo Shear, Max Siegel, David Sokol, Milton Paul Tamarin, Rose Zahner, Rose Manny Zarin, and Bert Samuel Morgowski. Are there any other names anyone's remembering this evening for Kaddish? Zichronam livracha, may their memories always be for a blessing. If it is your custom to rise with the mourners, I invite you to do so as we turn to page 294 for Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirute v'amlich malchute, v'chayechon v'yomechon u'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudasha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to the world. And together we say, Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated, unless you are Ronald Epstein, in which case I invite you to come offer some announcements.
Before our beloved President offers an announcement, though, I want to just make a comment, which is that many rabbis I know have difficulty feeling the kind of respect and love from their presidents. So I want to tell you something that Ron, I'm whispering. I actually was disappointed that Ron respected my sabbatical so much. I never heard from him, and I missed him. Don't tell him that I feel this.
He wanted me to pick him up at the airport. That's what he wanted, at 4 a.m. I'm going to speak to that. Shabbat shalom, everyone. So my remarks are really brief this evening. I've had just a perfect storm of a whirlwind week between work and family commitments, and I'm sure every one of you has had one of those weeks where, when upon reflection, you can't really distinguish the events from Monday from the events from Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. So, needless to say, I come up to you this evening somewhat unprepared. However, I do want to make some comments. First of all, thank you to Shai Kedmi for his musical inspiration, and of course for a beautiful service. Mayor, I've been thinking a little bit, about these 12 weeks, and thinking that perhaps there's some deeper wisdom in a sabbatical than the obvious. The obvious is, for the person taking the sabbatical, it's a time for reflection and recharging and so on and so forth. But it's also a time for a congregation to reflect and recharge. And perhaps you don't really appreciate that until something is missing. And you don't appreciate that something is missing until it actually comes back. And having you take up space, a lot of it this evening, by the way, here on the pulpit, was a clear indication of what has been missing here at Beth-El. Certainly, your pulpit presence. Last week, we had the blessing of having Rabbi Meir with us for the first night of Passover at our Seder. And that, too, is a blessing because of the really profound relationship, I think, that we've developed over these years. It's also a bit of wisdom in it for what is here during that absence. And we've had the opportunity we knew what we had, but then we have the opportunity to highlight and to have this wonderful team highlight exactly who they are and what they can do. So a tremendous thank you to Vlad and to Ellie for a wonderful job, to our cantor and assistant rabbi for a fantastic job over these past 12 weeks, 3 months. And welcome back. And soon you'll be going again, and then Tara will be back, and I miss your kids enormously. I have nobody to do the secret handshake with Adina. So I just wanted to say that very much, that it is a blessing for us to have you back, and a blessing for us to have this wonderful team with us. So as you can imagine, there are always a ton of things going on at Beth-El, but I want to highlight a couple of important announcements. Tomorrow morning, of course, 9:15 Torah study, 10:30 a.m. Shabbat morning service. The congregation will be celebrating along with the Kern family on the bar mitzvah of Andrew. That's next week. Don't tell Andrew. That's next week. I apologize to Andrew. That's right. That is next week. He is because he's not ready. No, I'm sure he is ready. He's a great kid, so I know his family. I also wanted to highlight the following weekend. After that, it is a packed weekend here at Beth-El. Friday night, April 20th, Erev Shabbat here in the Rudin Chapel. We are welcoming Pismon, which is the premier Jewish a cappella group from Columbia University, Bernard College, and the Jewish Theological Seminary. This is a really talented group, and we're going to have the opportunity to have a bonus Mulbaum with us. Ellie's sister, Yafa, is a part of that group, so we are going to have Mulbaums abound. Oh, it's going to be Mulbaums all over the place. Then Saturday morning on the 21st, Shabbat morning service, we have a guest speaker, Dr. Judith Plaskow, who is the professor emerita of religious studies at Manhattan College. She will speak on feminism in 2018. Judith Plaskow happens to be the second or third cousin of second once removed. I should know this as a genealogy guy. Second once removed of our dear Howard Herman. So I don't think you've ever actually met, but you will be meeting on that day. So it should be great. I understand she's a fantastic speaker, and it's a really timely topic, of course. Then at 7:30 p.m. that evening, Pismon is back for a community concert right here in the Rudin Chapel. I believe that's open to all, and the service begins with a Havdalah celebration, and then Pismon. And then Sunday, April 22nd, Rabbinic Dialogue here at Beth-El in the Social Hall. We'll have, of course, Rabbi Feldman, along with Rabbi Polikoff from Great Neck Synagogue, Rabbi Levy from Bet Hadassah, and Rabbi Stecker from Temple Israel. And Tara's back. She's not back. Tara's going to be Skyping. Oh, fantastic. Read the small print. So it's going to be really a packed weekend, and I hope all of your Passovers were great. I'm sure you've had enough matzah, but I understand that there's some chocolate-covered matzah downstairs, so maybe a little bit more. To everyone, have a fantastic weekend. Shabbat Shalom. And a thank you to Steve Coteen for being an excellent greeter this evening.
What are we closing with?
Osei Shalom.
We're closing with Osei Shalom. And please join us after services for Kiddush and Motzi downstairs.
Osei Shalom bimromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru Osei Shalom bimromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru
Shabbat Shalom. And Chag Sameach. One more day.
Right. You keep it. Yeah.